In the last video, we discussed about the basic concepts behind essay writing and the scoring criteria as well. Now we'll be looking at the essay writing by answering some questions using the template. And I want you to pay attention to how I'm feeling the templates and how I am completing the ideas here so that you gain an understanding of how to write the essay yourself. Okay, so let's say this is a question I got in the test, and as you can see here on the screen, the question has at the top the instructions, in the middle the topic, and at the bottom the question itself, and then there is a text box where you are supposed to write something. As you start typing into the text box, the word counter will start counting the number of words, and whatever you write inside this box you can cut, copy or paste as you like. In order to write our essay, the first thing we have to do is we have to type the template, and that means we have to memorize the whole template. The template is available just below this video. Make sure that you memorize that template very well for the exam. Another thing is there are so many templates available in the market right now, and you may have got one from your friends or others. We highly recommend that you do not use any templates other than what we have provided you with. The reason for that is if you use our template, then when you do mock test or mock minis, it is easier for us to see how much you have understood the template and also guide you further if there is any problem with it. We cannot give you any suggestions for the template that you may have got from other sources. So let's look at the template here. So the template has three parts basically: introduction, then it has two body paragraphs, and then at the end it has conclusion. And you can see there are some gaps in the template, and you have to learn how to fill the gap. Now some people tell me sometimes that there are a lot of things that we have to write in this template. Is it possible for you to give me something which has, let's say, all the words required to write, and you just add 2 or 3 words and then you complete the template? I'm completely against that approach, especially for people who are looking for 65 and 79, because in that case you need to learn how to modify the template according to the question as well. So that approach of just memorizing everything and changing a few words does not work if you are looking for more than 65 or more than 79 in your test. Now spend some time with this template first. Make sure that you can remember the whole template, and then we can go to the second step. One of the ways you can memorize this template is read it a couple of times and try to write on a paper, and then compare whatever you have written with whatever you see on the screen, and then start typing the template on the computer as well, and make sure that you can finish typing the whole template within first 5 minutes. If you can do this much, you are ready to go to the next step. So how do we complete the template then? Let's have a look at a question and answer it using this template. The question here says, do you think experiential learning is better than the traditional learning methods? Now we need to answer this question, and as I said, the first thing you need to do is type the template. Once you have typed the template completely, then you have to start filling it. But how do you do that, and what are the things you need to complete the template? That's what we are going to discuss now. First, how do I identify these questions? Okay, the first thing is you have to write the correct type of template, and that means you have to identify the type of the questions. The question we are dealing with here is called agree and disagree question, or the template that I'm going to use here can be applied to agree or disagree type of questions. So how do I know if this question is agree disagree type of question, or I can apply agree disagree template to this question? If in the question you see expressions like what do you think, which one do you think, what do you think, or in any question where they are giving you options like is this good, is that good, are you happy with this, does it change anything? I mean, when they're asking you your opinion, then in all those questions you can use agree disagree template. Even if the question does not explicitly use the word agree or disagree, even then you can use this kind of templates. And the last thing is, if the question has used or, that means it's agree or disagree question, because they are giving you option and asking you to pick one out of those options. So this is how you start the introduction of agree or disagree question, and you can see there are 3 gaps. The first gap is a quick reflection on typical day reveals that. So what do you need to fill this gap? Then there is second gap after analyze and explain, and then the third gap is after regarding this I believe that. Now you need to know what are the 3 things you need to complete the introduction paragraph. All right. Now see, the template is complete. Now I have written something there. In the first gap I have written the appropriate learning method for children. In the second gap I have written whether experiential learning is better than traditional learning, and in the third gap I have not written anything. So let's discuss for a minute how did I get this information. The first information I've used here, which is the appropriate learning method for children, this one I got from the question itself. This is actually the topic of this question. If you look at the question carefully, you see, do you think experiential learning is better than the traditional learning method? So that means they are comparing one type of learning with another type of learning. That means they are asking you which learning method is better. So that is the topic, and that's what I have written here. Now the question is which type of learning is better. That means whether experiential learning is better than traditional learning. So in order to complete the first gap, you need the topic from the question. In order to complete the second gap, you need to paraphrase the question itself. And in order to fill the third gap, you need something that you will get after completing the essay. So for now, we are skipping this. Even in your exam, when you are completing the introduction, just fill the first gap with the topic, second gap with the question, and third gap leave it until you complete the whole essay, and I'll tell you what you can do to complete it later on. Now we move to the body paragraphs, and even in the body paragraph we have a template, and we organize the information by using a formula called TREE. TREE stands for topic, reason, effect, and example. Or in other words, what I'm trying to say is when you are presenting your arguments in the body paragraph, you have to write them in the order of your idea, which we call topic, the reason for that idea, the effect of that idea, and at the end, example. Now, how do we write the topic? How do we write reason? How do we write effect? And how do we write example? We use template to do this. The topic is written by using this sentence: one compelling argument in favor of my stance on this issue has to do with the fact that, and then you give your opinion. That means if you think experiential learning is better, you just write what is one advantage of experiential learning. If you think traditional learning methods are better, you write one advantage of traditional methods of learning. So that is your topic. Then you give the reason for that. This is because you have to say why what you said is true or is helpful. Then you have to write the effect of that, and then example. It will be easier for us to understand this whole thing if we look at examples. So let's get started with that as well. Topic: one compelling argument in favor of my stance on this issue has to do with the fact that experiential learning provides better understanding of the topic. So you can see here I'm choosing experiential learning over traditional learning, and one of the benefits that I think experiential learning has is it provides better understanding of the topic. Now I have to say, why does it provide better understanding of the topic? And the reason for that is this is because children are more engaged when they are learning in this way. So I'm just giving the reason for one of the points that I have made here. Now I have to write effect of this, or in other words, if children are more engaged when they are learning, what is the positive outcome because of this? And that positive outcome is, as a result, they are more concentrated on the topic and learn more effectively. Let's look at these three things one more time before we move on to the example part. Topic: write what you feel about the given question. Reason: also include why you think in that way. And at the end, write what would be the effect of that idea. So topic here is better understanding, reason, more engaging, effect, more concentrated and effective learning. Example: now in the example, try to incorporate all these three things: topic, reason, and effect. That way your example looks more relevant and more impressive as well. To put this into perspective, multiple studies have shown that children gain more knowledge from the practical sessions than they do from theoretical sessions in classroom. So you can see this example is actually including the ideas from both topic, reason, and effect. So this is how you expand your idea by using TREE formula. Let's do it one more time for the next paragraph. Remember, in the next paragraph as well, although we'll use template, our organization of information will again be in the same order, from topic to reason to effect to example at the end. One thing about example: you will not have example all the time, and if that is the case, you don't have to include the example. It's not compulsory unless the question asks you to give one example. Otherwise you can simply not write example. Now again, the topic for this paragraph, because I'm writing why experiential learning is better, my next topic will be the next benefit. And you can see experiential learning produces better long-term outcomes. So the topic here for this paragraph is better long-term outcome. Now I have to think, why do we have better long-term outcomes with experiential learning? And the reason is the information acquired from this type of learning is more lasting. That means you remember it for a longer time. If you remember the information for a longer time, what is one more positive thing that happens? What is the effect? Which can be used when they need to solve real world problems. That means in the real world, when you really have to apply your knowledge, you don't have to think much and you can easily apply the information to answer the question. Any example of that? If you have, you can give example. If not, you can simply skip this part, and then you can see yourself that I have skipped example part here. Now is the time for us to give conclusion. Again, we are using a template here in the conclusion. Now in the conclusion, the only thing we are going to do is we are simply going to summarize what we said in body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. Now if you think about what I said in the body paragraph 1 about experiential learning, then I said that it helps you in understanding the topic better. And in the second paragraph, I said that the information you learn by using experiential learning is more lasting. Now I just have to summarize those 2 points in these 2 gaps. So you can see here, I would stress that topic not only first benefit but also the second benefit. Therefore I have a notion that I'm going to pick this particular one. As an example, in conclusion, based on the arguments above, I would stress that topic experiential learning not only improves children's understanding, first benefit of the issue, but also produces lasting results. That is the second benefit I mentioned. Therefore I have a notion that it is a more suitable method of learning for children. So I'm making a choice by saying experiential learning is better, which means I have just answered the question they asked one more time. Now if you remember, in the beginning we had skipped the thesis statement part or the last sentence of the introduction. Now we can write that sentence effectively and in an impressive manner as well. So how do we do that, or what do we write there? In that sentence, we simply have to paraphrase the first sentence of the conclusion. So the first sentence of conclusion here is, I would stress that experiential learning not only improves children's understanding of the issue, but also produces lasting results. I'm going to write the same thing, but in a slightly different way. So you can see here, regarding this, I believe that children can learn better with the former method, which means better learning, because it is more insightful and effective in the long term. And you can see I'm talking about the long-term part. Now, the language I have used is a little difficult to write. In simple way, what you can simply do is, regarding this, I believe that children can understand topics better and retain it for a longer time when they use experiential learning. That is another way of writing the same thing. So this is the end of this essay writing. So let me quickly tell you what we have done here. So in summary, what did we do in this exercise? We first wrote the introduction, and in the introduction there were 3 gaps. We only filled 2 gaps. The first gap was filled with the topic and the second gap was filled by paraphrasing the question. Then we moved to the first body paragraph where we wrote whatever we wanted to write by using a formula. That means we first expressed our opinion, which we call topic, then we gave the reason for having that opinion, and then we also wrote the effect of that, and then we gave one example. We repeated the same thing in the next paragraph as well, and this time we had second benefit of, or second important point related to whatever option we chose. We gave the reason, we wrote effect, but we did not write example because it is optional and we didn't really have a good example to write here. Then we went to the conclusion. In the conclusion, we just summarized the main point of body paragraph 1 as well as body paragraph 2. And then we wrapped up by re-expressing our opinion one more time, and then we wrapped up by reiterating our opinion one more time. Once we finished the conclusion part, we just paraphrased the first sentence of the conclusion to write the last sentence of the introduction. So this is how you write an essay. In another video, I'll be showing you one more question, and I'll show you how I'm going to apply these methods to answer any kind of question. If you are not sure about what we did here, or if you are not exactly clear about what you're supposed to do, I suggest that you watch a small segment of video at one time. What that means is, learn how to write introduction. Once you learn how to write introduction, then try body and then try conclusion, because this way you will not have the burden of understanding everything in one go, and it will be easier for you to understand the essay writing process. That's it for this screencast. In the next one, we'll answer one more question of agree or disagree type.